Devia dar.
E agora
não?
apareceria aí, né?
Sim, devia aparecer aqui o prévio. Tá.
Come on! Don't laugh!
I wish I would be with you. I feel so lonely.
Olha que coisa linda, Luís! Querias mais profissional que isto? Uau! Se revolta o cenário. Estás ali, olha, estás ali.
Sim, devia aparecer aqui o prévio.
Pronto, claro que há.
Há até os dois.
Está pronto, ou seja, às 10h30 vai-se pôr ali. Espera aí.
I wish I would be with you. I feel so lonely.
Oh, Eloy, terminaste, quer dizer que neste momento já está.
Revolta o cenário. Estás ali.
Terminaste ali. Quer dizer que já está lá.
Ah, porque começou no momento
Claro que há.
Então isto ficou tudo no ar.
Terminou?
Não sei.
Vai-se pôr ali.
Ninguém vai ver, não é? Só que depois dá para editar o vídeo.
Depois dá. Uma vez seguida dá.
Então pronto.
Revolta o cenário.
Coisas esquisitas.
Porque começou.
Aí estás com sono? Ah, aqui é que eu estou com sono.
Vai-se por Aí o problema é que tens o YouTube aberto. Tens de ter o YouTube. Não. Coloca mais baixo o nosso microfone. Celine, you are listening to us, okay?
Yes,
Ok, está aqui, acho.
but there is a gap
Vou fechar
between
isto.
the moment you speak and the moment you
Não
speak.
preciso disto. E agora? Vou abrir isto e vou ligar outra vez o som. Ok, entendi. Mas espera aí, há um problema. É que as pessoas vão chegar. Não é preciso.
Deixo parado.
Hã?
Deixo.
Mas se tu fizeres terminar.
Não fiz, mas.
Que horas são? 10h07. Faz terminar.
Dentro de 5 minutos vocês têm que estar prontos.
Ou podemos deixar assim.
É muito irritante.
Olha, agora temos um vista. Pronto, pode ser.
Deixa ficar. Acho que é mais.
Eu deixaria ficar, porque total.
Pronto, as pessoas ficam tranquilas. Se conseguíssemos pôr aqui, mas não vale a pena. Pronto, sem problema. Então, depois editamos.
Sim, depois a subida editamos. Eu enviei a ligação para a minha namorada e disse que me veio no Natal. Portanto.
Ok, Celine, can you hear?
A parte positiva é que sabemos quem é o.
Yes, I can hear, but I think
we don't have columns. Okay, now we have. Yes. What?
I think there is a huge time between the moment.
But this is normal. We cannot do anything. Okay, so this is normal. So you will make the presentation as normal.
Okay.
Apaguem as câmaras agora. Apaguem as câmaras.
I don't take into
Mas
account.
apagando as câmaras, o que vai aparecer?
Apaga a câmara dela, pelo menos.
Será que eu posso pôr uma imagem de fundo?
Pode.
Aonde? Isso era perfeito.
É que isto devia estar parado agora.
Ai, que nervos. Vou desligar o Celine, can you turn off the camera now?
Yeah.
Because we are going to create here a solution. Só que eu estou a aparecer neste momento.
Foi aquela cena
Do
que...
I have to switch on the microphone?
Espera aí, será que eu consigo mudar aqui? Desfocar, escolher. Desativar, desfocar, escolher. Plano fundo virtual. Espera aí, se calhar não precisas.
Agora mesmo está apenas o teu nome lá, Susana Constante.
Pois.
Coloca o fundo virtual.
vou buscar a imagem. Facebook.
É isso, compartilhar tela. Abre a imagem em grande e compartilhas tela e fica, não é? E depois simplesmente deixas de compartilhar. Vai ser o mais eficiente.
Vou aqui. E agora? Onde é que está o evento?
Abre sim.
Talvez agora aqui.
Não, podes abrir na web do sim.
S2CN. Ok. Ok.
Aí, podes abrir. Vai lá abaixo. Aqui
Esta.
este.
Não, porque esta vai para o link. Esta. Não. Então, não tem o evento? Não, não está aqui o evento. Isto vai para o YouTube. Esta imagem vai para o YouTube. Isto é um link para o YouTube.
Mas abre com clique direito. Abrir imagem. Novo separador. Já estás. Força. Está. Deixa aí. Deixa e partilha o ecrã. Está. Ou não? Não, vai ser melhor.
Guardar imagem como.
Já estão os nossos
Ambiente de trabalho. Guardar. Deixo. Volto aqui. E agora. Ajuda-me aqui. Como é que eu vou buscar? Aqui mais. Adicionar imagem. E agora depois no ambiente de trabalho.
Ok, stay.
Obrigada.
Susanna, I'll be right back in 5 minutes.
Ok.
Items.
Abrir.
É isso.
Mas não era isto que a gente quer.
Não, mas...
Eu quero no meu perfil. Ok.
Coloca
Ok.
não, então.
None. Ok. Então outra vez. Acho que já sei.
É no teu perfil mesmo.
Tem que ir ao Zoom, não é?
Tens...
Zoom.
Se alguém vai fazer o discurso em francês, não há nada a fazer. O texto está em francês.
Ok, temos que esperar que ela venha para perceber isso. Isso não faz sentido.
Espero que ela tenha traduzido em inglês.
Ok. Vou aqui, ajuda-me. Ok. Estou aqui.
Quadro branco não. Perfil, digo eu que será.
Está aqui perfil.
É.
Editar.
Sim. E em lugar dessa fotografia, pronto, coloca aí.
Aqui posso pôr
Sim.
Scene.
Awareness action. Aqui.
Scene em cena. Em cena. Nome de exibição. Isto não vale a pena ter feito esta alteração. Scene.
Boa.
Pronomes me interessa. E a imagem.
Desce.
Aqui, editar.
Change. Boa.
Ambiente de trabalho, yes.
Pronto, para a próxima já sabemos que essa cena de começar o streaming assim como esteja o tal, não
É esquisito, não é? Só que o problema é que isto não cabe. Que nervos. E agora?
Coloca o logótipo do sim.
Change. Onde é que ele está? Tenho aqui. Que horas são? 10h15.
Eu falo primeiro ou sou eu que falo primeiro?
Tu abres, sim.
Vou enviar uma mensagem no chat do direto para dizer que começamos às 10h30, está bem? Começamos em 15 minutos.
Pode ser. Ok, agora está. Salvar. Ok.
Estar prontos. Nesta altura, faltam 15 minutos.
Pronto,
Sim,
mas
sim,
isto
o
não
grupo
está a funcionar.
Está a entrar.
Pronto, não está a dar. Não sei porque quando eu desativo o meu vídeo, eu fico com a imagem anterior. Yeah, não está a dar. Celine?
Olha, aqui está
Eu
a
acho
dizer,
que é melhor.
aqui está a dizer que o meu computador precisa melhor Wi-Fi do que isto.
Então tens que ir lá para cima.
Tenho de ir lá.
Quer dizer,
I'm back.
Posso levar isto comigo até lá?
sim.
Para ter. Tens aqui uma chamada.
Posso ajudar?
Podes.
Diz.
Não, desculpa, estava a responder ao Eloy.
Posso...
Celine,
Onde é que posso ir?
is your speech going to be in French?
Is my speech?
Going to be in French.
No, in English.
Ah, okay, because Luis was saying that it was in French.
Oh, maybe I didn't send him the English version.
It's okay, no problem.
Okay.
Ok. Ok, Luís, estamos prontos.
Quanto tempo é que eu tenho para falar?
Então, ela vai ter 10 minutos, tu tens 5 a 10 no início e 5 a 10 no fim, no máximo. Portanto,
5 a 10 no fim eu
é
faço
meia
o
hora
quê?
no total. Então,
Eu faço a introdução. Ela
só sobre
fala.
cima. Ela fala sobre a
E a
rede
seguir?
europeia. Tu entras novamente para falar sobre a rede nacional portuguesa e o funcionamento das escolas em Portugal.
E há alguma coisa para se perguntar?
Não, nós tínhamos combinado era ser... mas é uma coisa rápida e é para lançar, portanto, quem está aqui para o trabalho presencial ou desejar bom trabalho, não é? Pronto, eu tenho que ir lá para cima. Tenho que ir lá para cima. Ou pelo menos vou lá acima
Quando é
e
que
já
sabemos
volto.
que isto começa?
Eu volto já e dou o sinal. Vou lá acima já.
Quem é que põe no streaming a funcionar?
Já está tudo pronto.
Ok.
Boa. Está a funcionar, não é?
Faz-me um favor.
Número aí.
Põe-me. Põe-me isto em cada uma das cadeiras da primeira fila, por favor. À passagem.
Agora.
91
91.
030 8420.
Ok.
Muito obrigada.
Obrigado.
Vemos lá em cima.
Hello, I'm Luis Mesquita, and I'm the coordinator of the European project SEENE. I want to welcome all of you that are gathering today for this event. Good morning, bom dia, dobar den, and dobro jutro. I hope I said it well. So again, welcome to the European Awareness section of Project SEENE. Today, this morning, we are gathering simultaneously at the same time our project teams in the different countries, in Portugal, in Matosinhos, in France, I think in Chambéry, in Bulgaria, in Sofia, and in Croatia, in Rijeka. And through this streaming, we hope we are reaching many other countries in Europe. So this morning, we are campaigning for second chance education in Europe, addressing vulnerable young people. SEENE project is a Key Action 3 Erasmus Plus project, coordinated by the Portuguese organization AE2O, Association for Second Chance Education, and our partnership as partners in France, the European Network of Second Chance Schools, in Bulgaria, the New Bulgarian University, and in Croatia, the non-governmental organization and adult education center, DANTE. The aims of our project, of SEENE project, are to raise the European awareness of the serious social problem of low qualifications of young people, early leaving from education and training, and social exclusion of young people. And also, SEENE project wants to promote the concept of second chance schools in Europe. It's a European policy with 25 years, started with the White Book of Education and Training, an initiative of the European Commission and the European Commissioner Edith Cresson, and spread in many European countries till today. The project wants also, SEENE project wants also to consolidate the European networks of second chance schools. There are networks, national networks in Portugal, in Spain, in France, and also we have an European network, but we it's important that we create new networks in many other European countries. SEENE project wants also to promote common actions between second chance schools and second chance schools networks. And we want to do it through a new organization that we are creating together, which is an European Center for Mobility, Training and Research. Second chance education and second chance schools are a social responsibility. We, second chance schools, cannot fulfill this mission alone. We need, so it's a shared responsibility. We need to gather everyone, all the institutional actors, non-governmental, governmental, decision makers, communities. We need to gather all this energy to be able to address in a proper way this serious social problem of social exclusion of young people. Only in this way we will be able to reconnect young people, vulnerable young people, with our communities and with our societies. Vulnerable young people are a very important resource in Europe. We need to give them voice and space in our countries. So we have also here with us this morning our colleague Céline Maillot. She's the Secretary of the European Association of Second Chance Schools, and she will address all of us on behalf of our President, Michel Audry. Céline, good morning.
Good morning,
The floor is
Luis,
yours.
and thank you. Well, good morning or afternoon to all of you. My name is Céline Maillot, and I'm speaking today as the manager of AE2O Europe and on behalf of its president, Mr. Michel Audry. We met from the 4th to the 6th of July in Paris to discuss the concept of second chance school. We, that is the partners of SEENE project. This project is funded by the European Commission with the aim of developing second chance education networks in Europe. This is also the objective of the European Second Chance School Network. To achieve this, we must take into account the diversity of national and territorial situations in Europe along the way. We must start from the identification of needs and the quality of the responses provided by the schools in our network. First of all, the analysis of needs is the first condition for developing second chance education, whether at the local level or at the European Union level. Locally, a detailed analysis of the economic and social characteristics of the area is necessary to mobilize the political and economic decision makers of the area around the project. Each territory experiences, in a more or less acute way, the difficulties of entering cognitive societies. This central concept of the white paper toward the learning society, published in 1995 by the European Commission and written under the direction of Mrs. Edith Cresson, is at the origin of the development of the second chance schools. Firstly, it tells us two things. The first is that economic and social activities have evolved from the objective of obedience to the necessary development of skills, since we have moved from the mass production, mass consumption model to knowledge economies. The second is that this change is not only economic. The knowledge society confronts us with issues that are also cultural and political. What can be called the cognitive divide is at the root of what has been called the social divide. In their economic consequences, these fractures are at the origin of phenomena such as the segmentation of the labor market or exclusionary unemployment. The former contrasts quality job with low quality jobs, poorly paid, precarious, with no prospects for development, and so on and so forth, depending on the level of qualification. The second highlights peripheral obstacles, making access to employment unlikely in the absence of inclusion strategies. The social dimensions of the cognitive divide are reflected in spatial segregation, constructing central and peripheral urban and rural habitats, and in inequalities in educational success and early school failure rates. The cognitive divide takes place in space and time. It also has cultural causes, which reinforce the effect of the reproduction of social inequalities. European societies are open societies, which have to carry out, so to speak, permanent cognitive revolutions with a view to adapting to our values and morals populations educated and socialized in distant cultural representations. It is no coincidence that in the same year that the white paper was published, the issue of the social divide was pushed to the top of the political agenda. It is unfortunate that such issues are so quickly replaced by the turmoil of current events. The consequence of this neglect can be seen in the rise of political forces opposed to the fundamental principles of the European Union and the second chance schools. The priority attention that we similarly give to the most disadvantaged people is endangered when both the progress of European citizenship and the conditions for the formation of an open society are threatened at the ballot box. The development of the skills and networks offered by the second chance schools is therefore not exclusively economic in importance. It is an important reality that needs to be better measured. In the national networks, we know how much a course costs, but research still needs to progress in order to estimate what it would cost without it, from the measurement of individual suffering to that of collective threats via social discomfort. The quality of the responses provided by the second chance schools stems from the attentive listening to societal issues to which Edith Cresson called us at the end of the last century, with which she reminded us of in Paris last July. It is by listening to the questions posed by each young person that we are able to develop a pedagogy adapted to common problems and to singular problems. The singular problems are multiple. The only thing they have in common is that they always involve the relationship of trust between the trainee and the school. In our second chance schools, individual problems are permanent problems, daily questions. For our trainers, a particular relationship with the world, rich and difficult. The common problems usually begin with a lack of confidence and self-esteem. They're logically reserved from childhood, marked by school failures, family difficulties, and social stigmatization. Some of our young people have also had to experience and flee war. We owe all these young people an adaptive pedagogy, allowing them to regain their self-confidence, to discover their skills and the possibility of developing them and putting them into practice. The pedagogy of second chance schools is based both on university research and on exchanges between trainers and their daily work. It is not surprising that the need to seriously develop a second chance education is stated by academics, as in the case in Bulgaria. Scholars are called upon today to go beyond their specialties to enlighten the world, which implies helping them to do so by building bridges between scholarly and professional perceptions. We are responding to an architectural expectation of our time. A second chance school is undoubtedly characterized first and foremost by its educational requirements. It is the basis of what we have to say and do in our territories. From there, we mobilize the actors in the territories, those in charge of public policies, but also the economic actors who engage with young people unexpected and constructive relationships. When the trust that we establish with our young people also exists with the decision makers, then it is transmitted from one to the other. This is, so to speak, the job of Second Chance School. Thank you for your attention. Luis, the floor is back to you.
Thank you very much, Céline. And thank you very much, Michel Audry, that is our president of the European Network of Second Chance Schools. I think it was a very important framework, very important ideas that you bring to us this morning. And so we will continue the journey of this morning. Still to say that, as I told before, and we heard also in the words of Michel Audry, our president. So we need to be together in this common mission.
Yes.
So there are many millions of young people in need of our intervention all over Europe. It's not a small problem, and we need to gather all our efforts and to gather all energies that we can. So SEENE project is a contribute. We want to be a contribute, as I said, to continue to raise this awareness. Europe needs their young people. We cannot dispense our young people. We are very aged societies, so we have this kind of demographic problem. And so not just for this, of course, our young people are precious. And we need all the social and educational policies to support the inclusion and the contribute of these young people. So SEENE project, as I was saying, is a contribute to bring this new idea and this new policy to countries where it's not popular, it's not familiar yet. So we hope that by the end of the project, in 1 year and a half, more or less, in Bulgaria and in Croatia, and hopefully in other European countries, we will have new second chance education actions and eventually, hopefully, new second chance schools that will be able to address their territories, vulnerable young people. Then we want also to promote and encourage second chance schools and initiatives, national networks. We have this kind of networks in Portugal, in Spain, in France, but we need to have them in Germany, in Denmark, in Sweden, in so many other countries. So it's also the aim of the project to support, to promote, to encourage the consolidation of the existing second chance schools networks, but also to create new networks in the countries where they don't exist yet. And finally, SEENE project want to contribute to promote common actions between national networks and policies and second chance schools. We need research actions. No one knows very well how many young people in risk with low qualifications in the situation of early living we have in Europe now. There are some numbers, but they are not supported by serious, credible studies. So SENE project wants also to connect to the universities and to research centers to facilitate and to be an actor in this effort of research, of knowing better the situation of vulnerable young people in Europe. We also need actions of training actions of professionals. The professionals that work in second chance schools have a very demanding job. They need special training, and they need also cooperation projects to share their experiences and to find together new ways of working with these young people. And finally, we need mobility projects in Europe. We need to promote, to facilitate the opportunity of young people, but also professionals and organizations to go around Europe to meet each other, to visit each other, to share and to know the experience of other schools and partners. And this is a very important goal for in Europe today, and also for our common project. So last word to say that we have in Europe, we have a very strong network of second chance schools in France, where the European network is based. So it's a very serious national policy with the involvement of the government, the involvement of companies. We have a lot of schools all over the French territory and overseas, and it's a very consolidated social educational policy in France. We have also a growing new policy of second chance schools in Spain. With some years already, this Spanish network is being able to connect with the national government and with the regional governments, and is also growing, and there is a big network now of schools. So second chance education is progressing very well in Spain. We are also doing our job in Portugal. So we started in 2008 with the opening of second chance school in Matosinhos. Then in 2015, we developed one policy proposal that we call REP strategy, so reducing early living. And this policy paper was presented publicly. Then in 2018, we created our national network. And in 2019, we were happy to see that the government created one legal framework that now is supporting the existing schools in Portugal. This year, we did our fourth national meeting of second chance schools, where our 7 schools were present, and many other partners, because our national network has around 40 organizations, including municipalities and all kinds of schools, universities, and all kinds of organizations working with young people. So I think we are finishing this common part of our awareness action. And now I would invite everyone to in our national events. So as I'm speaking, we are gathering a group of people here in Portugal in a local theater, Teatro Flor de Festa. We are gathering one group in Rijeka in Croatia, and we are gathering one group and our project team in Bulgaria, in New Bulgarian University. So now it's time to meet these guests and our project teams and to continue our project work. Thank you very much for your attention and keep following our SEENE project. Thank you.
Goodbye.